Well, the final day is taking shape here at the Belgian Darts Open at the Oktoberhallen in Wiese. We've got 2 quarters of the draw where all the seeded players have progressed. We've got 1 quarter of the draw where we've got 3 unseeded players make it through, and the only seeded player is one of the guys bumped up into the seedings in Martin Schindler. And then we've got this intriguing top quarter where the top seed Michael van Gerwen has been knocked out. It has the lone remaining Belgian in Kim Huybrechts, but he's going to take on arguably the top performer of the day in Adrian Lewis, who's just breezed past Boris Krichmar as if the 9-foot-tall Croatian wasn't even there. And Joe Cullen, who pretty comfortably saw off Dennis Nielsen, awaits the winner of this, our final game of the night. It is the Dutch number 2, Danny Noppert, the reigning UK Open champion, and Madars Razma, the Latvian number 1, whose year this year has seen him qualify for everything. The match play, the Grand Prix, that's done and dusted. The European Championship, that's sewn up. He'll be going to the Worlds. He'll be going to the Players' Championship finals. This man is going places he has never been before. He's gone places he's never been before on the European Tour this year as well. A semi-finalist not that long ago. Could this be the weekend that he takes another step into the unknown, uncharted territory and reaches first Euro Tour final?
Game on.
If Madars is going to go further than before, he'll have to overcome Danny Noppert. And that is not an easy thing to do nowadays. Chris Murphy is alongside me to find out who prevails in our final game of the night here in Belgium.
121.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. And Madars certainly deserves a big build-up. The boy can play, but so, of course, can the newly nicknamed Freeze, Danny Noppert,
100.
winner of the UK Open. Looking to win the last match of the evening, and what I agree has been a very, very interesting evening of arrows. Just an interesting set of results without even watching the matches, but watching the matches was thrilling, enthralling, exciting, and at times bizarre.
174.
Well, Madars Razma with a perfect scoring visit.
Do see him use the treble 19 more often than the vast majority of darts players. Sometimes you'll see him start visits there, start legs there even. Hasn't beaten Danny Noppert since they played in Dublin at a Players' Championship event 4 years
57.
ago.
Significant because
Madars made it all the way through to the final and lost out to Max Hopp on that occasion.
yeah, that was his first PDC ranking final. He has since made a couple more.
He beat a Belgian en route in Ronnie Huybrechts, one that isn't in action in this tournament. His brother still is. He also beat Michael van Gerwen en route and Andrew Gilding, who knocked out a Belgian, the number 1 Belgian this evening.
Beautiful dart. Double 5. Not too shabby either. Danny Noppert gets the opening leg with Madars Razma sat poised on tops after 12 darts.
Yeah, we saw one Dutchman have a lot of trouble going from tops down to 10s, then up to 5s. In fact, so much trouble he didn't fancy it a couple of times and busted score. Michael van Gerwen actually had, what did we work out, 12 darts from 80 in the last leg of the match.
Yeah, and 8 of them at the doubles themselves.
60.
It seems to be a recurring theme, and I apologise to the viewers if I'm boring you to tears by talking about it, but something's got to be done about this 60 finish with 2 darts. Players are making it too hard for themselves, Dan. You like the flatty, don't you?
I do. I don't like going for the small segment. I think that's silly. You've just seen Danny Noppert there miss the segment entirely, and he's going for the treble.
There's jeopardy, isn't there? Some players purposely go high, hoping they might squeeze it in the tops and get a clear one at double 10. But if you don't squeeze it in the tops, you're more severely blocked than you would be if you just went for the middle of the fat 20.
Yeah. Well, I think if you'd asked me about the flatty dart 3-4 years ago.
100.
I said, well, if you're not throwing it in the same way, obviously it's going to be difficult. But to be fair, Daryl Gurney's explanation of at least how he throws it, and he says there is no jeopardy. I'm throwing it in exactly the same way. I just move it an inch in my hand where I'm gripping it. And with my dart, I think it's going to be easier for some players than others. You know, it'd be difficult for somebody like Andrew Gilding with that shape of dart that he has. But somebody like Danny Noppert, somebody like Madars Razma with a more conventional straight barrel, quite long dart, I don't see why you wouldn't employ that tactic. Ooh. Well, that would have been a new one.
I've seen Keegan Brown go that route before on 125.
85. Danny, you require
treble 18,
120.
treble 13, which would have left double 16. Nice little sweep down the board there. He
is innovative, isn't he, with his finishers, Razma? And not just his finishers, his scoring as well, to be fair.
78.
He has a clear go at tops here.
Game on the second leg. Madars Razma. They like Danny to close.
Encouraging start to this game. Danny going out in 15 darts with Madars left on a double. Madars going out in 16 darts with Danny left on 42.
I'll admit, I did worry when I looked at the fixtures and the way that they were set up for this evening that we might get a case of after the Lord Mayor's show when Huybrechts and Van Gerwen had finished, however that match played out. And then when it did play out the way it did, that danger became even more apparent. But Adrian Lewis put paid to that with a fantastic performance against Boris Kritschmar, and these two have started very well indeed.
Yeah, I mean, there's no getting around it. It's a case of after the Lord Mayor's show in terms of the atmosphere in here, but then again, they've probably barely got any energy left. Between a Belgian host who's been taking them through what is essentially a rather aggressive group Zumba session in between the little mini breaks, and that mad end to the Huybrechts Van Gerwen game. Well, it was mad all the way through, wasn't it? There was just so much drama. They're exhausted, and a lot of them are doing it in some serious fancy dress.
Yeah, well, don't worry, Gibraltar next. Paul Nicholson will be staging mass yoga on stage in between sessions.
Yes, at least a dozen people can get involved in that.
139.
Noppy himself wouldn't mind a 139 here. Probably should have started on the 19s, but he can still get the 139 now.
139.
Well, by hook or by crook, he does get to a finish. Madars is going to stay on the 20s. Even Madars would say, well, he'd try.
83. Danny, you require 160.
Razma got the better of Andy Barton, didn't he, in his first match, a 6-4 success. Was given a bit of a scare, several scares in fact, during that game.
He was, and I have to say, I think Andy Barton's was incredibly unfortunate in that match.
64. Danny, you require 100.
Not saying he should have won it, but I'm saying it could have been even closer than 6-4.
Now then, is he looking at tops? He is, because you can see from that angle that he did have 60. A decent sight of it.
Madars, you require 83.
Razma is now hoping for a break of throw.
Beautiful dart, leaves double 16 to go into the lead. Really nicely done.
Madars Razma.
Madars Razma looking pretty deadly at the back end of legs so far. Checkouts of tops and 83.
Very good stuff so far from the
94.
Latvian lobber. Let's have that chat then, Dan. Danny Noppert.
140.
Premier League. Discuss.
Well, are we assuming that the Premier League will be the same format as this year?
140.
I think it's safe to assume that. I've heard Matt Porter, the chief executive of the PDC, saying that They think that a format like that should be given a few years.
So we were only picking 8 players.
Correct.
80.
In which case,
Noppert.
Danny Noppert has got a very real chance of making the Premier League, but I think that's because Danny Noppert is playing such good
95.
darts that he's going to be a threat in the tournaments at the back end of the year. However, if he doesn't perform in the tournaments at the back end of the year, I think he's going to struggle because he'll be leapfrogged by other people who do.
140.
Politician's answer.
No, I mean, if you're asking me whether I'd put him in an 8-man
Right
thing
now.
I think I probably would, or at least he's very close.
140. Danny require
But it won't be. It'll be after the
141.
Worlds and the Slam and all this sort of stuff. And there'll be the world finalist and the world champion are going in.
I reckon if he gets this, he'll be in. Interesting, because it might come down to
89.
Danny or Dirk, and I think there are things that Dirk brings to the party that Danny certainly doesn't.
Absolutely. Well, again, if Dirk finds himself in a World Championship semi-final, I think certain players have to do more than others to get in.
True.
And I think that's one that you could have always levelled at Joe Cullen. Joe
Joe
Cullen forced his way in without any argument by winning the Masters, and he very nearly won the Premier League itself.
Some argument from some people,
Yes.
but I think they were having the wrong argument personally.
100.
Don't think Cullen was the man least deserving of being there.
I see where you're going. But the thing is,
56.
you could have picked an 8-man Premier League, and you could make very strong cases for at least 12. At least 12. On their marketability, their bums on seats, who people want to see, their
57.
performances, their titles, their status. You could make cases for loads. Ultimately, if you don't make yourself an automatic
95.
pick, you run the risk of not getting picked, and tough luck.
And some did think that automatic pick was winning a major tournament. Of course, that isn't the case. There isn't a set criteria,
94.
as Rob Cross found out after winning the European Championship. Noppert, of course, the UK Open champion. But some people will make themselves known over the next few months.
60.
Well, there's much consternation about Danny Noppert not being picked for the World Series finals, and then he forced his way in by winning the qualifier.
Yeah, good point. Gonna have to force his way back into this match, though.
60.
Madars Razma has quietly pulled away into a 3-1 lead while we were discussing other things.
90.
Not the best night to be wearing that shirt.
$58.
Not a bad night to be wearing that outfit, though. As Kim Huybrechts ensured Belgian representation on the final day.
96. Danny require 132.
I believe his game against Adrian Lewis will be the last one of tomorrow's afternoon session, as Danny looks at the 57 and now looks back towards the bullseye. 1-3-2 check out, expertly done by the UK Open champion.
6 like Madars trophy.
That's what he can do. I hope he will get a Premier League card.
He's the best of the best.
He's amazing. I have to say, I'm really looking forward to that match between Lewis and Huybrechts.
100.
Well, it's going to be such a different atmosphere. If Adrian has gone up there or come off stage tonight and thought, well, I've been up there now, I know what that's like. No, you don't, because it's going to be very, very different when he steps into the cauldron that is the October Hallen when he's taking on Kim Huybrechts. Although, you would say, if they both play like they did tonight, there's only one winner and it ain't Kim.
140.
It is perhaps a reflection of where we are, that you can play nowhere near your best and still beat mighty Michael van Gerwen, a man
59.
who often on the European Tour. In fact, in everything for many years, you could play your best and still not win against him.
Well, Peter Wright knocked out this evening. It's almost a forgotten story. But with Wright out, Van Gerwen out, Humphreys not here, Smith not here and Price not here, Joe Cullen is the only man who's won a European Tour event this year.
Yeah. Madars with the first 180 of this contest. A little sort of sarcastic celebration from him there. And there's a few high-profile players who've won lots of titles, haven't won Euro Tours, who might be thinking, ooh, what a chance.
Trophy time. Noppert with the last leg on the bull, but it's double 5 for Razma.
82.
Can't find it.
Then you require 80.
He took out 80 in the opening leg. Took it out on double 5. Won't take out on double 5 here.
This is the thing we've been talking about.
Because it's a forest of tungsten. Can you find the pathway through it, Danny?
60.
No, he can't. And you could see there was a little turn of the flight on that second dart up near tops. Difficult to gauge how much of an effect that had, but there was certainly contact.
Double 2 then to get that 2-leg cushion.
Madars Razma, 7th leg Danny to the first.
Had it at 3-1, has it at 4-2.
Now you look at the players in action tomorrow, who we know are capable of winning a European Tour event because they've won other titles, some of them really big ones. You know, the European champion Rob Cross, for example.
96.
Nathan Aspinall is still searching for a first Euro Tour. Dirk van Dijvenbode keeps on knocking on the door. Some players who haven't won a title of any kind, the likes of Gabriel Clemens and Martin Schindler, the two Germans, Andrew Gilding.
96.
Danny Noppert, of course, a player who's looking for his first European Tour title. It looked like he might get it in his home country earlier on this year, lost out to Michael Smith.
93.
It looked like he might get one in Austria, lost out to Michael van Gerwen. Case of Danny Noppert flying under the radar. Yes, the success stories on the Euro Tour, Luke Humphreys and Michael van Gerwen this year. The nearly man has been Rob Cross, 3 beaten, 3 losing finals. Danny Noppert's had 2 losing finals. Again, very, very good, but just flying under the radar.
Yeah.
An underrated player.
The radar player. Didn't have to go 18 bull because he's got some in hand
48.
in this leg. A very good leg it is indeed as well. Tops after 12.
1-3-3 incoming. Kind of surprised he's not going to get it.
57. Danny require 40.
Tops after 12 for him as well. But Noppert nails it. Close the gap again.
Eighth leg, Madars to throw first. Game on.
One of the finals that Razma has reached since that one we mentioned when he beat Noppert en route was earlier this year, wasn't it, when he lost out to Gerwin Price
140.
in Germany. Michael van Gerwen beat Martin Schindler the next day, actually. The very next event, Andrew Gilding lost a final to the Dutchman Danny Jansen.
Yeah, so 3 players there. All PDC finalists, Madars and Gilding, multiple PDC finalists, all of them searching for their first senior title. And an indication that they've all been knocking on the door this year. And
60.
I would argue, all of them knocking on the door louder than they've ever knocked.
Yeah, Gilding's second final this year was defeat to Danny Noppert, incidentally.
Yeah, he gave him a good game as well, didn't he? It's a close one.
Yeah, 8-6 in the end. And the day after that, Adrian Lewis ended his title drought. So players that have been there and thereabouts have got big chances in this tournament by virtue of the absence now of the top, 5 in the world? Some of them who came, some who didn't.
98.
And might have wished that they hadn't bothered the ones that did.
Well, it actually means that the highest ranked player in the world who's here is Jose de Sousa, a man who is looking to end a bit of a title drought of his own, but looked really good in that brilliant game earlier on today with Ross Smith. Other side of it, Madars. No, the other side of those darts, not the wire, man.
Danny requires 64.
Didn't follow the instructions. Noppert loves tops.
Games on the 8th leg. Danny Noppert.
And Noppert will love the fact that having been 3-1 and 4-2 down, he is now throwing for the lead. And Madars shakes his head.
Danny to throw first. Game on.
Because that could be the pivotal moment in this game.
Yeah, it's been rock solid stuff from Danny Noppert in this match. Not much between them in the averages. But Noppert has hit 4 of his 6 double attempts in the game. And the ones he hasn't hit have been when he's barricaded himself out.
.96. Can
barricade Madars Razma out this game with a couple of strong holes to throw. It's in his hands. Both of these guys averaging mid-90s here. Both of them finishing pretty well. In fact, Madars Razma, those 3 darts he's missed at double in that last leg, which would have put him 5-3 up. He's only missed 1 more dart at double in the entire match. Or 2, sorry.
171.
Playing Madars Razma at his own game there, filling up the treble 19 segment. And he's already taken out 132. Did it in the 5th leg.
57.
Doesn't need to now. In fact, doesn't need to start on the ball. You would think starting on the treble 20 is a sensible play.
We are nearing the end of what has
60.
been a dramatic day of darts here in Belgium. A brilliant tournament it's been so far, but it concludes tomorrow. The first match, Andrew Gilding against Niels Zonneveld to get things underway. Both
57.
Springing surprises tonight, although one more surprising than the other. Danny Noppert's comeback bid continues, and I'll say it again. Noppert loves tops. And he'll do it again.
Danny Noppert, 10 Madars to the first game on.
Yeah, after that first one, Schindler against Rodriguez, Clayton against Van Dijvenbode, Clemens v Cross, De Sousa Searle, Chisnell Aspinall, the winner of this against Joe Cullen, and Adrian Lewis against the last Belgian boy standing, Kim Huybrechts.
Yeah, so in that
57.
half of the draw that starts off the action tomorrow, Gilding Zonneveld, Schindler Rodriguez, Clayton Van Dijvenbode, Clemens Cross, only one of them has won a European tour.
59.
That's Johnny Clayton. In the other half, it's only De Sousa, Huybrechts, Lewis, Cullen. So there's a very real chance of a brand new Euro Tour winner tomorrow. We could get a brand new title winner. Or maybe Joe Cullen is just going to clean up.
Certainly a very good chance of a different winner this year, unless it is Joe Cullen.
It's going to be fascinating.
140.
And it's still hanging in the balance about who's going to join them in this final day, because Madars Razma is going to leave a finish
140.
Did that need to find the treble? 124 is a makeable shot, but 84 should guarantee a dart for the leg.
Yeah, we mentioned Cullen there. I was just going to say it's he and Adrian Lewis, the only two players really to come through drama-free this evening.
Treble 18 and ball. He looks at Danny's score. I think he's got to go for it.
Do you?
I think he has to.
So did he.
91. Danny require 150.
Did he have to?
(20/20 hindsight).
We'll have to
75.
waste a dart to leave a double
33.
because of where he missed. That's just a bit of a lottery when you end up going outside. But double 16 for another dramatic deciding leg.
That's exactly what we've got. One leg shootout, the UK Open champion and the Latvian #1. Only one man will progress to face the #8 seed Joe Cullen, the only guy left in the field to have won a European Tour event this year.
60. $57.
Consider as well that Johnny Clayton survived a match dart against Keane Barry. That could have made it even more interesting, couldn't it?
Well, there's so many tight ones.
43.
I mean, Peter Wright obviously was fancied to win that one against Sonneveld, but went down deciding leg. Johnny Clayton surviving a match dart. We saw 4 match darts survived by Jose de Souza against Ross Smith. Dirk van Dijvenbode surviving 4 match darts. Was it 4 match darts or one match? One match dart from Mervyn King.
Actually, if you put the rusty Jake Rodriguez win over Hector and Van Dijvenbode's win over King in the evening session, swap them for Cullen, Nilsson and Lewis Critchwell, you've got one of the most
100.
dramatic sessions of darts ever. Yeah, that's about right, mate.
Oh
77.
no, of all the times to get a bounce out, particularly when it looked destined for the treble, a last leg decider is not the one. And remember Andy Barton's against Madars Razma. He had similar, he had the same.
44.
And Madars, it wasn't a last leg decider, but it was to force a last leg decider. And Madars Razma, he's got a bit of fortune with him this weekend. Can he make it count here like he did against the Belgian qualifier?
132.
Oh, great darts, Danny Noppert.
Well, this could be absolutely perfectly poised after this visit. Danny Noppert's going to get 2 stabs at treble 20 for a dart at the bullseye.
Got to stay straight.
60.
It's the bare minimum.
Yeah, you really think you needed at least 1 treble there to leave a slightly more favourable finish.
Is he thinking about moving away from the 20s? Oh, well, he's ended up moving away from the 20s and he didn't want to.
Did the thought come because he didn't like the lie of that dart?
Maybe. I just think he was looking at Madars' score and thought, I don't want to end up on double 5.
80. Madars, you require 160.
Well, it's been incredible stuff, but we're not going to get the most incredible finish unless we see loads of missed
60.
darts at double from here.
Danny, you require 50.
Or
10.
see Noppert go straight for the ball.
Well, 10 for tops. Sensible. And Danny Noppert inches past Madars Razma. A 21 dart leg, the worst of the entire match, but the decisive one. Noppert comes from 4-2 down to win it 6-5 and set up a shootout for the quarter-finals with Joe Cullen tomorrow. Cullen, the only player in the 16-man field left standing in the final day in Belgium here tomorrow on the Sunday, who has won a European Tour event this year. We've got a number of high-profile players who haven't won European Tour events before. It could be a first for them. It could be a first title for someone. But with no Van Gerwen, no Wright, both sensationally beaten here in Belgium today, it is wide open and all set up for a fascinating conclusion to the Belgian Darts Championship and this wonderful return to Belgium on the Euro Tour. We will be back from 1 p.m. local time tomorrow. It all gets going with that unseeded clash between Andrew Gilding, Dimitri van den Berg's conqueror, and Neil Zonneveld, the man who did for the world champ Peter Wright. We'll leave you with Danny Noppert and we'll catch you tomorrow.
To the third round, it's Danny Noppert. Danny, congratulations. I think you're going to say finally a winner's interview again on the European Tour stage. The last couple of times you went out at the first hurdle, so an important win here.
Yeah, after a holiday, sometimes you need to have a break for yourself, but yeah, it was not really good afterwards, but yeah. This game was either not good. With the fingers crossed, I won this game. It's not. I'm not not on the best level that I am, but yeah.
You know, you're playing Joe Cullen tomorrow in the last 16, or maybe this win, although it's not a pretty win, gives you that little bit of confidence to get going again and to play your best darts on this stage.
Of course, and I like to play for the crowd like this. And it's a really nice crowd. So far this evening, I saw the message before. I have respect for like this.
Danny, congratulations, best of luck tomorrow in the round of the last 16. Ladies and gentlemen, the freeze, Danny Noppert.